Another chapter added to the great Indian bank robbery.
To try and make sense of this investigation and why was Nirav Modi allowed to get away, and also to look at the political dimension of the charges being levelled at the Modi government's doorsteps. Remember, Vijay Mallya, Lalit Modi, now Nirav Modi, all of them somehow managed to leave India right before the CBI and the ED clamped down on them. Is this just coincidental? Is there a design? Joining me now in our news pit, Rajeev Dubey, our managing editor for business. Meetu Jain is our executive editor. She's tracking the investigation on this story very closely. Nirav Modi is able to pull off this scam, and nobody for years, from 2011 to now, is able to smell that a scam of this proportion and this magnitude is being executed under their nose.
So we'll once the investigation is over, we will surely know that this was not a 1, 2, 3 people's handy job. It was essentially will involve at least dozens of people. You know, there are certain processes that the banks have to follow. Something like this kind of a transaction requires 3 levels of checks. You know, there's an creator of this transaction, there's a checker of the transaction, there's an approver of the transaction, there is also supervision over and above that. So these things couldn't have happened without the involvement of dozens of people.
And there are rules apparently which say that every 6 months in a bank the seat must change, every 3 years there must be a transfer.
So
the officials involved in this scam were on the same seat for more than 6 years.
Absolutely. For PSU banks, the rule is that, you know, the guy has to shift it from his desk, from his job every 3 years. He has to be moved out of the branch every 3 years. So the fact that this has happened for 7 years, the same gentleman, he joined in 2010, he retired in May of 2017. The very fact that he was there for 7 years is itself a very big question mark over this investigation.
And in the midst of all of this, a massive political row has now broken out. There's so much being made by the Congress of Nirav Modi being with the Prime Minister at the same time in Davos. Rajiv, where are the facts? Is there an official delegation? Does the Prime Minister know who's coming?
No. So it's like this. It was a CII delegation which actually organized this picture as well. And it was so it's possible that obviously CII and PMO would talk to each other. Who all will come for the picture opportunity.
And CII gave to the PMO list of all those who were going.
Absolutely, they should.
Should someone have raised the red flag at that time?
If the PMO knew that this is something that is suspect, a person is suspect, he's defrauded the banks, or that there is a money laundering case against him, provided the PMO knew. The other interesting thing is that within these 5 days, it's not that the PNB would have discovered this. The question is, PNB knew it, that he's a suspect case. Did PNB inform RBI? If they did RBI inform the government?
There are very serious charges. Multiple times the line of credit has been extended under the watch of the NDA. The NDA claimed crony capitalism and these fraudulent banking transactions ended once they came to power. That hasn't happened. I want to quickly ask all our guests, what happens next?
30 banks that PNB wrote to the moment they discovered this. They wrote to 30 banks saying that we have discovered this modus operandi by which the bank has been defrauded, and can you please investigate in your banks whether such a modus operandi has been used for similar frauds. Now that we will only know once those 30 banks actually investigate this, see whether this has been used and whether something like this has happened in their accounts as well. It's very unlikely that it would have happened in many banks, because most banks have actually integrated the SWIFT software with the core banking software. This was one of the rare cases, and if there are other PSU banks involved which have not integrated, then it's possible that this modus operandi may have been used there.